is Wilson Isaac. I am from BKI Morning Class 3rd semester. Now I will explain about English syntax and English word structure and meaning. First, I will explain about syntax. What is syntax? Syntax is foundational in language because it determines the structure and order of words within sentences. In English, syntax has certain rules that dictate the placement of subjects, verbs, and objects, among other components. These rules help to clarify who is performing an action, what the action is, and who or what is affected by it. For instance, declarative syntax: the cat catches the mouse. Subject, verb, and objects. Question syntax: did the cat catch the mouse? Auxiliary verb, subject, verb, and objects. Each language has its unique syntax rules. English syntax generally follows a subject verb object order, but other languages such as Japanese use a subject object verb structure. Understanding syntax is crucial in translations and learning language, as it governs how meaning is expressed through structure. And now for the formal and notional definitions. In analyzing language, both formal and notional definitions offer perspectives on how words are classified and understood. Formal definitions focus on syntactic rules independent of a word, meaning they provide a consistent way of identifying parts of speech based on structure alone, which is especially helpful in linguistics. For instance, in the sentence, that which glitters is not always gold. That and which might be formally classified based on functions without regard to what they mean specifically. Notional definitions are based on general meanings that aligns with everyday language use, which makes them accessible but sometimes imprecise. For example, defining adverb as words that modify verbs may seem intuitive, yet many adverbs can also modify adjective and other adverbs, as in very quickly. Understanding both approaches can improve clarity when teaching or learning language, as it allows you to five, view words both for what they represent and for how they function within a sentences. And now, word classes and phrases. Word classes, also known as parts of speech, categorize words based on their syntactic roles and behaviors. Each class contributes uniquely to sentence constructions. Knowing word classes is essential for construction, contracting, and deconstructing sentences, as they inform how different elements in a sentence relate to each other. Word classes, nouns, represents people, place, things, or abstract ideas. They can function as the subject or object of a sentence. Example: engineer, London, liberty. And for the verbs, represent action, states, or occurrences, and are often the core of the predicate in a sentence. Examples: run, believe, appear. Adjective: modify, nouns to provide additional detail, often describing qualities or quantities. Example: colorful, five, brave. And for the adverbs, modify verbs, adjective, or other adverbs, providing information about manner, time, degree, or frequency. For the example, generally, frequently, completely. Prepositions show relationship between a noun or pronoun and other words, often in the terms of locations, directions, or time. For the example, over, during, beside. And for the conjunctions, connect words, phrases, or clauses. There are coordinating, subordinating, and correlative types. Example: and, because, and, or. For the phrases are groups of words that act as single units within sentences and serve various functions. And non-phrases built around a noun, they often include articles and adjectives. For the example, the big, fluffy dog, determiner plus adjective plus noun. For the verb phrases include the main verb and any auxiliary verbs expressing the actions or state of the subjects. For the example, has been sleeping soundly. Auxiliary verbs plus main verb and adverb. Adjective phrases centered on an adjective, they modify nouns. For the example, extremely interested in scenes. In the tensifier, adjective and prepositional phrases. For the adverb phrases, built alone and adverb, they modify verb, adjective, or other adverbs. For the example, quite quickly. In the tensifier plus adverb. Each type of phrases enriches the sentence by adding specific details, providing nuance, and expanding the sentence's descriptive power. For the noun phrases, a noun phrase can be simple or complex and functions as a noun within a sentence. Noun phrases may contain modifiers like determiners, adjective, prepositional phrases, or clauses, all of which add information to the noun. For the simple noun phrase consists of a noun and possibly a determiner. Example: a cat. Sentence: a cat sat on the windowsill. For the complex noun phrase, contains multiple modifiers providing detailed information about the noun. For the example, the small black cat with white paws. Determiners and adjective, noun, prepositional phrases. Sentence: the small black cat with white paws catches the mouse. For the complexity of noun phrase can vary depending on the context and the level of detail needed in literary of descriptive writing. Complex noun phrase add richness to the narrative. For the verb phrases, verb phrases contain a main verb and may include auxiliary, helping verbs, and other modifiers. They often indicate the action, state, or condition of the subject and are central to the sentence's meaning. Simple verb phrase contain just the main verb. For the example, runs. Sentence: She runs every morning. Complex verb phrase include includes auxiliary verbs which indicate aspects like tenses, mood, or voice, as well as adverbs for further modifications. For the example, has been working diligently. Auxiliary verbs and main verb and adverb. For the example sentence, he has been working diligently on his project. The main verb conveys the core actions or state, while auxiliary verbs can add layers of meaning indicating the time frame, possibility, or ongoing nature of the actions. Clauses. Clauses are essential building blocks of sentences, each containing at least a subject and a predicate. They can function independently or as a part of larger sentences structures. Types of clauses. Main independent clause contains a subject and a predicate, expressing a complete though and able to stand alone as a sentence. For the example, she reads every night. Subordinate dependent clause adds information to the main clause but does not stand alone as a sentence. Often introduced by a subordinating conjunctions. For the example, because, although, and if. Example, because it helps her relax. For the example sentence, she reads every night because it helps her relax. Dependent clauses provide additional information about time, reason, conditions, or manner, and are used in conjunctions with main clauses to create complex sentences. Now, sentences and clause functions. Sentences are complete thoughts that can vary in structure and complexity. Each clause within a sentence can serve different functions. Sentence types. Simple sentence contains a single main clause. For the example, the bird sings. Compound sentence contains two or more main clauses joined by a coordinating conjunctions. For the example, the bird sings and the cat watches. For the complex sentence, contains a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. For the example, the bird sings because it is happy. For the compound complex sentences, contains multiple main clauses and at least one subordinate clause. For the example, the bird sings and the cat watches because they are both alert. For the clause functions, subject perform the actions. For the example, the dog. In the dog barks. Predicate tells something about the subject and typically contains the verb. Example is running fast. In the boy is running fast. Object receive is the actions of the verb. For the example, a song. In she sang a song. Complain provides more information about the subjects or object. For the example, a teacher. In he is a teacher. Adverbial adds information about how, when, or where an action takes place. Example, in the garden. In She read in the garden. These functions are essential for understanding the purposes of each clause and constructing meaningful sentences. For the main and subordinate clauses. Main and subordinate clauses work together to add depth and complexity to sentences. Main clauses are the core of any sentence structure and can function independently. For the example, the child's laugh. Subordinate clauses enhance the meaning of main clauses, adding extra context. For the example, because he heard a joke, in the child laughed because he heard a joke. And now, structure and meaning of English word. The structure of English words involves both their form and the smaller until they contain. Each word can be broken down into morphemes, the smallest units of meaning in a language. These morphemes can exist as a standalone words as part of word that contribute to its overall meaning or grammatical rule. Meaning in language often has layers. Denotative meaning. This is the dictionary literal meaning of a word, free from emotional or cultural associations. For the example, home denotes a place where one lives, and connotative meaning. This meaning includes the emotional or cultural associations attached to a word. For the example, home connotes warmth, family, and safety beyond just being a living place. The meaning of a word can also change depending on context, as some words carry multiple meanings based on their uses within sentences. This is where understanding morphemes helps by breaking down words into their meaningful units. We gain clarity on how meaning is built. And now the morpheme. A morpheme is the smallest grammatical unit in a language that carries meaning. Morphemes can be either free, standalone, or bound dependent on other morphemes. Free morphemes. These morphemes can exist dependently as words without needing any additional elements. For the example, book, run, happy. Each of these words is a complete morpheme that stands on its own. Bond morphemes. These morphemes cannot stand alone and must attach to a free morpheme to convey meaning that include prefix and suffix. For the example, yun in unhappy or ad in work. Neither un nor earth can function alone but at specific meanings when attached to a free morpheme. Morphemes are essential for word formations and give insight to how words gain their specific meaning or grammatical roles. Type of morphemes: inflectional versus derivational. Morphemes can be divided into inflectional and derivational categories, each serving different purposes in modifying or creating words. Inflectional morphemes modify a word to express different grammatical features such as tense, number, and or comparisons, without changing the word's core meaning of part of space. In English, there are only 8 inflectional morphemes, which include endings like s, ad, ing, n, and est. For the example of inflectional morphemes, plural s in cats to indicate more than one cat, past tense ad in work to show the action happened in the past. For the comparative, er in taller to show a comparison. For the inflectional morphemes do not alter the word's meaning substantially but adjust its form to fit grammatical rules in context. Derivational morphemes. Derivational morphemes, on the other hand, create new words by altering the root word's meaning or changing its part of speech. They may appear as prefix or suffix, and they often create words that belong to a different word class. Example of derivational morphemes: prefix "un" to unhappy changes the meaning of happy to its opposite. For the suffix "ness" into happiness changes happy adjective to a noun. Unlike inflectional morphemes, derivational morphemes often change the meaning or category of the word entirely. For the example and explanations in my own words, let's look at a few examples to clarify the distinctions among these types of morphemes. Free versus bound morphemes. Free morpheme example: the word play is a free morpheme because it has meaning on its own and does not need any additional elements. For the bound morpheme example, the suffix "ad" in played cannot exist independently. It modifies play to indicate the past sentence. Inflectional morphemes in use: plural books, book plus s. The s shows there is more than one book. Past tense talk plus ad. The ad form tells use the actions happened in the past. Derivational morphemes in use: change in meaning: unhappy, and happy. Takes the root word happy and adds the prefix "ant" to create a new word meaning not happy. Changes in part of speech: movement, move and ment changes the verb move into a noun. That's all from me. Thank you.